Anakin, it's actually totally natural to miss your mom, but I need you to understand that what it is to be a Jedi is to be responsible for your own actions and to see the greater good and the wider purpose that you have and the wider responsibility that you have with your powers as a Jedi. The universe gave you powers and the universe gave you feelings as well. It's totally natural to worry that harm is coming to your mom, and I, Master Yoda, with all of the power and influence that I have as the Grand Master of the Jedi Order on Coruscant, will go and send a search party to see if your mom is okay. But am I going to allow you to do this yourself? No, I'm not, because you have a role here. I care about you, and so I care that, if you're worried about your mom, I'm gonna try to do something about that. But I'm not gonna let you do it yourself, because you have a job to do. And even though we are not responsible for our emotions, because emotions come and emotions go, the nature of the mind, Anakin, is to be fluctuant. Emotions come and emotions go. What you are responsible for is your own actions, and you have a job to do because you are such a powerful Jedi. Welcome back to Teaching Daily. In this video, I want to talk about this Reddit post that really got me going, because people were listing their favorite TV and fictional teachers like Steve Irwin, Mr. Rogers, people like that. Now, I think there is actually a very specific, very concrete answer as to who is the best teacher in fiction, but I don't want to talk about that. In this video, I want to talk about something that I've been angry about for years, and I just can't stay silent about this any longer, because the worst teacher in fiction, in my opinion, is, you might have guessed it, Master Yoda from Star Wars. Not only did Yoda just have a terrible effect on his organization, he basically destroyed his educational institution over the course of his tenure as Grand Master, but the specific reason he destroyed it is not through not being a strong enough Jedi, not being a good enough diplomat, although that could be argued, and not even through not being powerful enough with the Force. He had all that. The way that Yoda destroyed his organization is through bad teaching. Because what happened, what destroyed the Jedi Order? He lost track of Anakin, right? He wasn't simpatico anymore with Anakin's internal emotional state. I'm not going to go through this in this video, but if you watch this channel, you know that understanding how emotions work, understanding your internal emotional state and how students' emotions affect their ability to learn is really vital for a teacher, and Yoda doesn't have any of that. But the most important thing about emotions that Yoda got wrong is kind of what I tried to say at the beginning of this video. Yoda famously said, "Fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering." And therefore, Anakin, you should have none of those things. And if you have them, you maybe shouldn't be a Jedi at all. This is what Yoda said. That's all wrong. And not only is it wrong, I think it's wrong, I think it's logically wrong and morally wrong, but that specific statement of Yoda, which is the opposite of how I started this video, leads to the destruction of the Jedi Order, the enslavement of millions, and as I said, the end of an entire age and Yoda's educational institution. All Yoda needed to do is understand that emotions are perfectly natural human responses, and more than that, emotions are information. That's all. Emotions are your mind trying to help you, trying to tell you something that you don't understand, which, if Yoda was such a wise person and such a skilled military general, you'd think that he would take all the information he could get, right? But Yoda is not wise. And this is interesting because this is kind of what makes Yoda such a compelling fictional character. Actually, we don't usually get attracted to wise, enlightened characters. If there are truly wise, truly enlightened characters in fiction, they tend to get killed off really quickly, like Obi-Wan. But the best example of this is Master Oogway. Master Oogway is truly painted as being enlightened and is also a pretty good teacher. So, the interesting thing is, because he's so enlightened, the story has to get rid of him very quickly, because these people don't make great characters most of the time. Now, I do think that there is a paragon of good teaching in fiction, an absolutely goated fictional teacher, which is, of course, Ms. Frizzle. Ms. Frizzle is such a good teacher, dude. And the reason why is not because of like her knowledge of literacy or even like her knowledge of like science, education, research, all that stuff. No, she's a good teacher because she teaches through inquiry. Miss Frizzle never answers a fucking question. Whenever her students have a question, what is Miss Frizzle's response? Well, Ralphie, let's find out. She actually gets in the bus, she shrinks the bus down or flies into space, and she's like, let's actually answer your question. Let's go see what the answer is, but I'm not gonna tell you. Of course not, because if I tell you, that would destroy the curiosity. And because her students are always being rewarded for being curious, Miss Frizzle never has a classroom management problem. Guys, Yoda was really bad at managing Jedi behaviors, so bad that they turned into Sith. Miss Frizzle never has that problem because she rewards curiosity in her students. If Jedi stray outside the dogma, they are anathema, they are shunned, they are told that their emotions are completely invalid and that their having of them means that they shouldn't be Jedi in the first place. So, I'm curious to ask, what are your favorite teachers or least favorite teachers in fiction or on TV? This is my opinion. Yoda, Anakin deserved better. Now, the last thing that I want to say about Yoda, before I go, is actually one of the most important parts of being a teacher, but it's a little bit more of like a weird soft skill. I don't really know how to teach this. It's sort of just a thing that you have to have, and I don't know where my having of this in particular came from, so I don't really know how to give it as advice. But Yoda has no faith. Yoda has no faith in Luke to do the right thing. He has no faith in Luke. He says, when Luke leaves, he said, no, I mean, we don't need him. There's another one. So if Yoda had more faith, when you have faith in students in general, this allows students to do the hard thing, make the hard choice, because you as a teacher have complete faith that they'll be able to succeed at this really hard thing. But because Yoda has no faith, when he asks Luke to do something that's really hard, which is to not follow his instincts and go save his friends, Luke doesn't do it because Luke doesn't have... Why would Luke listen to Yoda? Yoda doesn't believe in him. Yoda doesn't believe in Luke, so he loses him. And whenever I ask a kid to do the hard decoding work that you have to do when you learn to read, because no matter who they are, I have faith that I can teach them and that they can learn to read. I really don't have a problem with getting kids to do the hard work of learning to read, but it's all about faith. So if there's one thing that you can learn from Yoda is, well, two things. First of all, don't be scared of emotions, accept the emotions that you have. And two, have faith in your students because it will show. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, could you give it a like, subscribe if you want to see more, leave a comment on who your favorite teacher is in fiction, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye guys.